Three, two, one, let's go. Here we are, September the 18th, 2025, crossing the lines. Week four college football edition. I am Mr. 411. I am via satellite, but guess what? It gets even better because not only is the calculator here, but our guy LT is in the house. And when LT's in the building, you know it's good. So, what's up, fellas? What's up, LT?
Hey, greetings and salutations, everyone, as well. Great to have LT join the show. One of our fantasy football contributors, decided to take time out of his day to assist the calculator to see, if he disagrees with something. He's not afraid to speak his mind. So I definitely, if he does want to add something in there, we're always welcome. But a lot of this is for support for the group. Because LT is like me, and Mr. 401, he's a capitalist as well. He wants everybody to make as much money as possible. So that's why we're here today.
Absolutely.
And
Well,
so,
all right, well, we gonna get the party started. I'm
yeah,
out.
that's right, Mr. Producer. Friday night special, the Fry Daddy special. That's right. Luckily, yours truly, I get a day off, another night off. Peach County is on the road, so I don't actually be frying up. So I get to sit down and watch one of the teams I bet either on or against. It's just because I follow this team. Hey, if you check the show 2 weeks ago, they covered against by the hook against Iowa State. And you know what? If something works, you keep pounding it, right? Listen, Iowa is one of those teams that they keep games close, and this is another close spread, 2.5. Iowa is favored. Okay, with Iowa, uh, you don't have to worry about analytics. You don't have to worry about trick plays. All you have to worry about is a run game, solid defense, and good coaching. And when I say good coaching, a coach that'll just take the points when they're available. Hey, 4th and 1 from the 30-yard line, they're not going to go for it. They're going to kick field goal. And I like that. So, but you can say, calculator, this is Rutgers on Friday night. Is Rutgers still coached by Greg Schiano? And I said, yeah. They said you don't bet against a Greg Schiano's team on Friday night. And I was like, normally you don't. But unless you have on the other side a well-coached team, a team with a running game, and a team that is going to just basically do a bow constrictor type game plan, they can prevail, and it's under that key number of 3. So I think Iowa is going to win by 3. I think it's going to be one of those games where it's possibly tied right at the end. Iowa's going to get that ball with 5 minutes left, and they're going to just dink and dunk and run. And then, 3 seconds left. Again, on the 30-yard line, Iowa's got a great kicker, and they're just going to kick a field goal to win the game by 3. So, hey, if you only give up 2.5, a win is a win. Doesn't have to be a lot. Doesn't have to be a 7-point win. We only need that field goal at the end. LT, do you disagree with this pick?
No, I like this pick. I think field goal will win it. Absolutely.
That's right. And see, LT knows a lot about field goals. We're fans of kickers in the fantasy football, and we like coaches that let their kickers kick the ball. Analytics, you know what analytics does, LT? Analytics gets coaches fired. Just as Staley, the former coach of the Chargers. That's why he's now an offensive coordinator for the Saints, is because he was relying too much on analytics as a head coach. And and I could tell, I know 3 games. I still remember, because I watched them, games, Kansas City and the Chargers, where he could have kicked multiple field goals, passes them up, they don't get any points, and they wind up losing by 3 on 3 separate occasions. So, yeah, analytics, that's why I like Ferretz, the coach for Iowa. He's just going to kick a field goal and take it there. So, yeah, that's why we're going with Iowa on our Friday night. Hey, that's going to move us right to some early games on Saturday. Hey, look at this, folks. Utah, Texas Tech. Yes, we don't use a lot. If you listen to the show, we don't do a lot of over-unders on this show. But unless there's a narrative out there that I think is misleading, that's when we can try and take advantage. Yes, Utah does not have an explosive offense, folks. I don't care. Yes, they've averaged 45 points per game up to this point. They've only averaged, allowed an average of 7 points per game. But when you look at their competition, they were basically playing ahead, could do what they want. So they they didn't have to really grind out a game. Well, they hadn't. On the other side, they hadn't had to play an explosive offense. Texas Tech is an explosive offense. We talk about Utah's 45 point per game. Texas Tech 55 points per game. So you can say, calculator. We got one scoring 45 points a game, another one scoring 55. You're going under 57 and a half. Folks, this is all going to be about game script. Utah has a wonderful defense. The strength of their game is their defense. The strength of their game is going to be at the home field at elevation. So what I think they're going to do is they're going to keep that Texas Tech offense off the field. How do you do that? Run the game, do quarterback sneaks, do anything you can to shorten the clock and I'll get Texas Tech to where they're impatient so that they have to do what's out of character for them, and then that's when Utah's defense can create a turnover or something like that. But you know what they're going to do with a turnover? They're not going to take any chances. They might just run it straight 3 times and punt the ball again. So that's why I like under the game, because everybody's going over. And folks, what's weird about this game, they're playing in Utah, a Mountain West team. Kickoff is 12 o'clock Eastern. Folks, those guys are going to be yawning on the sideline because it's going to be 10 o'clock in the morning their time. So, yeah, early kickoff. They're not going to be used to it. Texas Tech, I mean, body clocks are still going to be a little off, and I don't think scoring will actually happen until the second quarter anyways. So take another quarter out of it. I think a slow starting game, and then when Utah gets into the groove of, hey, we're going to keep just playing defense and, you know, move a little bit down the field, run the clock, kick the field goal. Hey, we want field goals in this game. We don't want touchdowns. And you know what? I don't care who wins right now. That's why I'm taking the over-under, because at 3.5, I really didn't have I think Utah's going to win the game, but I just don't know if Texas Tech has the defense, because Texas Tech hasn't played a road game yet. Another reason I do favor the Utah defense is Texas Tech being not on the road. It's going to be kind of like a wait and see. And I think they're going to be, and I think they're going to be like 2 3-0 fighters, right? 2 undefeated fighters are going to be, jabbing around, trying to feel each other out, and really not. They're going to try not to lose the game to win the game, in my opinion. So I know, LT, I know you're not a fan of picking unders, because then we're fantasy football at heart. We like scores, but trust me, LT, we don't want scores in this one because we're going with the under. Oh, one more fact: do not bet this right away. I would say wait until about half hour, 45 minutes before kickoff, because what I just said, 45 points per game for Utah, 55-point game for Texas Tech. Your recreational bettor is going to be seeing those big numbers and say, how can this game not go over 57.5? So when your recreational bettor gets out there and starts betting on the over, that's going to push the number up. So I actually think, right before game time, this could move up a whole another 2 points almost to 58. Hey, I don't think it'll hit the 60 mark, but I'll definitely think it will rise. And I think that's when you got to take. Hey, I think it's going to be under 57.5. So if it doesn't go up, still go under 57.5. But it doesn't hurt, because all my sources say this has nowhere else but to go up, because all the sharp money has come, because it actually opened at 58.5. The sharps bet it down to 57.5. But now we're going to wait for the recreational bettors to get and move that one back up. What about you, LT? You think there going to be a lot of scoring in this one?
I do think there's going to be a lot of scoring, but I agree with you on most points. If we can save scoring in 1 or 2 quarters, that would definitely keep the points very low. Now, I do like the betting line. I do like the 3.5. 3.5 is very safe.
So, well, do you think Utah can cover that 3.5?
I believe they can win by the field goal, which the half point would save the books.
Okay, I got you. So yeah, that hook is actually why I kind of wanted to go to the over under section, because that half point could either hurt you or help you. So it's like, hey, if I go for the under, I don't have to worry about the hook. I just can just go for a game total and go from that. So, but hey, LT, real quick, do you have a favorite college team? Like I said, I know you're a big NFL guy. Do you have a favorite college team that you want to let the people know?
Georgia Bulldogs, of course. Okay. We live in Georgia.
Yeah, being in the South, being in Georgia, yeah, LT goes to the home game. Well, hey, we were on here last week. We actually lost the Georgia game by half a point, but hey, we did pick Georgia to win. I just thought it was going to be by margin. But yeah, we like to bet Georgia when we can on here. But Georgia did not make this week's. I think they're off this week. They're get the off week right before they have to play Alabama next week. But hey, preview: Georgia just might make the CTL broadcast next week. But hey, you have to tune in to find out. But hey, I'm going to go to the an ACC game. It's not an ACC versus ACC. It's actually ACC versus Big 12. But hey, you got your SMU Mustangs. Hey, underdog, against TCU. The one thing I think was a benefit of UNC getting dumped by TCU is I think there's going to be there's overreaction in the market. Hey, I understand SMU has not fared well early on, but you know what they can do? They can score. TCU's had the benefit of facing a UNC game, breaking in a new coaching staff, breaking in a lot of new players, and a whole new atmosphere. And I think that caught up with them. And you know what? SMU has 3 games behind their belts up to the year. And based on this high over under at 63.5, this feels like a team with the last ball wins. And I think since I'm getting a full 6.5 points, I think taking the points is the option. I'm just going to take a team that's getting points because, again, I think it's going to be one of those close games. And this is another where I have sources, right? They say their sources are the recreational baiters are going to go to the favorite. So, again, I say wait, because if you can get that extra point and get a 7, that you can at least get a push if this goes to a freaky touchdown game or something like that. So yes, I would say wait, but because personally, I think SMU is going to win the game. If you saw what SMU did to TCU last year, beat them by almost 30 points, and I think TCU probably has that in the back of their mind, but I think it's not going to matter because I think SMU is just going to be able to, let it all out, score at will, because TCU, what I did see near the end of the game is they have some holes. And I think not having a lot of games under them could catch up to them. Home field advantage could have to help them win the game. But again, I don't need SMU to win the game. I just need SMU to keep it a close game. So I'm going SMU plus 6.5. You have any comments on this game, LT?
I'm with you. I hope that the line would I would hope that the bettors would even push the line to maybe a 7.5 so that we can score with the touchdown.
Exactly. Because I think once it hits 7, it's not going back to 6.5. Once it hits 7, it's probably going to gain more momentum. And like you said, go to the 7.5. So if you can wait later to the 7.5, pull the trigger, folks. But yes, this is a wait and see if you can get a better line. But if you can't, if nobody's betting, if people staying off, I still think SMU can cover by margin. So, hey, we're going to stay at 12 o'clock. Memphis, 7.5 against Arkansas. Man, hard to go against the Razorbacks in this one, and I'll tell you why. They have looked great this year. They've had early blowouts on their first 2 games, and then they went head-to-head with a top 10 team in Ole Miss. But you know what? I think that's going to be the hangover effect. And what do you mean by that? It's like I think Arkansas thinks they should have won the game. They outgained Ole Miss by yardage. They had an 8-minute time of possession advantage, and they missed 2 field goals. They were actually driving at the end of the game to win the game. Guy fumbles the ball. A lot of things went around Arkansas that a lot of times would happen to a visiting team. Well, guess what? And then next week, Arkansas has Notre Dame on the schedule. So look, it's the perfect sandwich game, right? Hangover effect 1 week. You're going to have the look ahead to the next week. Perfect thing. And guess what? Memphis is a good team. And Memphis is at home. This is like Memphis's game of the year. They get one of the big, very rarely does a team like Memphis can get one of those big SEC teams to come to their house and play. I think this is way too many. I saw some models out there actually have Memphis winning straight up. So, hey, if Memphis wins straight up, you don't need to win. You're getting 7.5 points. So say there is this hangover effect, this look ahead effect. Say that does bring Arkansas down, and they kind of sleepwalk the first 3 quarters. Then they say, oh, we need to, put in the after grinders, and then they go down and win the game. Well, they're not going to win by 7.5 if it's within one score. So yes, 7.5, safe bet. I think this could, you might want to bet this now because you already got the hook over that key number of 7. So don't play any games with this one right now. Go and click the 7.5 because I really think Memphis is going to give Arkansas a run for their money, and Arkansas is going to be one that kind of like that guy in that last lap, realizing that, oh man, I'm not pulling away from these guys, and then all of a sudden, before you know it, Memphis is about to win the game. So yeah, I like Memphis. I like the 7.5. Perfect sandwich game because you hangover effect with look ahead. It's just a bad scheduling spot for Arkansas. Great scheduling spot for Memphis. And I'm getting a touchdown and a half. What about you, LT? You know anything about these two teams?
I do like the way Memphis has been playing.
Yep.
And they do look strong. And I agree with you. I would take the 7.5 right now before the line moves anymore.
That's right. When it's what the old saying, take a bird in the hand rather than 2 in the bush. Yeah, I don't think you're going to get 2 in the bush. So go ahead and take the bird in the hand. So yes, definitely take Memphis 7.5. And hey, SEC. We're gonna stay in SEC country. LT, your neck of the woods. I know you being a Georgia fan. I know you know these two teams well. Oklahoma, not Georgia, but Oklahoma and Auburn. Oklahoma is -6.5. Venerable, the head coach for the Sooners, has these boys playing defense. Michigan has showed that they can pretty much score on anyone at any time of the year, but not when they played Oklahoma last week. And if you listen to the broadcast 2 weeks ago, we had Oklahoma beating Michigan by margin. That was one of our wins, and we take it. We'll tout it. You can go and fact check me if you don't believe me. Yes, because the other 2 games, not counting Michigan, Oklahoma's only given up 3 field goals, and now they welcome an Auburn team 3-0 for the first time in a while under the Hugh Freeze regime. And guess who's the quarterback for Auburn? Arnold, the guy who was the quarterback for Oklahoma last year, the guy that the city ran out of town, right? So, but hey, if you're going to have a guy that was under a coach for a year and he transfers, I'm going to give the advantage to the coach. You can talk revenge factor. You can talk about motivation, but Venerable knows the strengths and the weaknesses of Arnold, and they're playing at home. Listen, Auburn's defense has shown tendencies to be vulnerable against a pass. Yes, they beat Baylor, but Baylor was able to score when they wanted to. Auburn just outscored Baylor because Baylor's not known for their defense either. Listen, I think Oklahoma will do just like the Michigan. They're all state quarterback. He's going to get out there to transfer quarterback Mantier, who plays well at home, by the way. Just look at the Michigan game. So they're going to get out to that big lead, and then they're just going to pin the ears back, and Arnold trying to use that motivation is going to kind of bring them back and be out of character. And I think that's when Oklahoma can turn them over and extend the lead. And guys, we're not giving up the full touchdown. We're still under that key number 7. So this is another one we need to bet now, because I think when more and more people look at it, more and more people will see Oklahoma has a power rating edge, has a points per play edge throughout the year, and the underlying metrics on the defense is 10 times and 10 places better than Auburn. So they got a lot. They in matter of fact, on a neutral field, the numbers actually show Oklahoma winning by 10. But hey, I'm getting them at home, and I don't have to give up a 10. I'm giving up 6.5. So bet now, get it under the 7. And LT, I'm worried if Georgia has to play Oklahoma this year, it could be tough. But I just don't have faith in Hugh Freeze and Auburn. So I think the Barners, I'm going to fade them this week. What do you think?
I definitely like John Mateer because I believe that Oklahoma game script and the way the teams play, I believe that coach has got them dialed in, and the money's on John Mateer to score touchdowns.
Yep, and that's why he transferred to Oklahoma, because he wanted to play in games like this. He wanted to play games against Michigan, games against Auburn, SEC teams. And you know what? Oklahoma has the advantage of not playing one of the harder SEC teams yet, because I know Auburn showed something against Baylor, but Baylor has its flaws. But Auburn is definitely not on the same level as Texas or anything like that. So I think Oklahoma. And I can't. First of all, I can't wait for the Red River rivalry down the road. That's in a couple weeks from here. But yeah, I think Oklahoma takes care of business and will stay undefeated, and will. Yeah, I think they're going to set up a great showdown for Texas. But hey, what? And LT, do you like going to casino? I never asked you. Are you a casino guy?
Absolutely.
Oh yeah. So one thing you can do at the casino is you can do the slides. You can run some crabs. You can hit jackpots when you're at a casino. Oh my god! Oh my god! That's right, folks. That was me when I saw this line come out, because I was like, yes, I know this game is at Air Force. Yes, I know it's at Elevation. Yes, Boise will not be phased, because you know what? It's not in there in Colorado Springs. It's not cold yet. It's not snowing. So I think it's going to be a beautiful day in Colorado Springs. And folks, I think that, after that messy mishap against South Florida, I think Boise State, it was great. They had an easy game against Houston Washington, which they won by 50. And then they had the bye week to get their heads straight. I think now they have recovered from that shocking loss in week 1. And folks, I don't know if you saw the Air Force game last week, but I did. Utah State put up 49 against Air Force. So if you think that Utah State has a good offense, Boise State's offense is even better. So if I say I'm telling you, Utah State, and I think what happened is that SMU game has really suppressed this line, because I love it. Look at headlines, but they said, I look at numbers at what ifs. They said if Boise State would have won that South Florida game, and even with the Air Force, they said Boise State would have been favored by 17 in this game going to Air Force. So yes, I'm going to take a little grain of salt from that South Florida. Throw it away, because I think Boise. Yes, I know they don't have Genty, but they still have that Matson as quarterback. They still have solid wide receivers, and you know what? Their defense is still good. Oh, and you can say, well, calculator. How are they going to be able to stop this triple option? Listen, Boise State has had to play the triple option 3 straight years, so they have experience against it. Oh, and did I mention? I did mention they had a bye week. So what do you think they've been practicing on this whole bye week? Option. So yeah, I think Boise State will be ready for the option. I don't think it'll give any problems with it, and I think Boise covers the 10.5. And yeah, do you think Boise State's missing a Genty LT? I mean, we so it's hard not to. Go ahead.
I'm sure they are, but Boise State also has Sire Gaines, and Boise State's definitely going to run the football. I promise you, they're going to run the football,
and they're going to look at that Utah State game tape, and they're going to say, "Hey, what did Utah State? They ran, they passed, they kept them off balance, and Boise State has the athletes to do that." So yeah, jackpot. I like it so much, folks. I got jack because I actually have Boise State winning double digits in here, and at this point, but two touchdowns and more. So 10.5. Don't be scared of the hook. Well, I know that's a hook over the key number of 10, but yeah, I think 14's the number in this one. And so, Mr. LT, last game, I saved it for you in honor of you being a wrestling fan. Yes, people know LT as Stone Cold. Well, him being a wrestling fan, this kind of ties into our last game of the week. If our producers can get that footage for us. Yeah, I'm sure LT can appreciate a little wrestling into a CTL broadcast. But yes, that is the introduction to Smelly Line of the Week. Florida 7.5 against Miami. I'm telling you, what in the world? You have a team in Florida coming off of two losses, one at home against a non-ranked team on one side. You have a team in Miami coming off 2 straight-up wins and against the spread wins, one of them against Notre Dame, and just a demolishing of the team that just beat Florida 2 weeks ago in the swamp. How in the world is this not 2 touchdowns? So it's like, you know what? I got to dig deeper because I can't press the button. This smells too good to be true. I was actually listening to a couple podcasts when I was researching the smelly line, and every one of them likes Miami. All the I'm telling you, that is what raises my antenna. This is not easy money, folks, because, hey, when it's too good to be true, it usually is when it comes to the book. Florida is mad. That defense is good and ready. And I think all those interceptions that Lagway had last week against LSU is going to be a learning experience. I think that quarterback is going to learn. He's going to be ready. Napier's going to have those guys saying he's going to world against us. And guess what? This is an interstate rival. So you always say, no matter how bad teams are, no matter what the records is, if it's an interstate rival, put the records away. So, hey, if I'm going to put the records away, I'm going to get a team in the Gators that, yes, I don't think they're going to win. But, folks, I'm getting a touchdown and a half. Again, a full touchdown in the hook. Hey, if he stays away from the interceptions and leans on the running game, I think the defense for Florida is going to be good enough, because what Miami's been able to take advantage of is smaller interior defensive players. Yeah, Notre Dame didn't. I mean, they're still kind of small on the line, and Miami because Miami has one of the biggest, most athletic offensive lines in the thing, but they're not going to have that advantage against an SEC athletes in Florida. So Florida, they're going to play it good. I think the quarterback is going to return to his preseason. The one thing that hurt the quarterback for Florida is he was hurt during the preseason, didn't get a lot of practice in the spring, and I think he's gotten his the bad stuff out of the way. You know, he's learned. Had a close game against an inferior opponent. Had a so-so game. Still lost against South Florida, and just had a flat-out bad game last week against LSU. But I think Florida bounces back. No, I don't think they're going to win, but I think they keep it close. And, folks, we don't need a win. We just need it under 7.5. Anytime I can get something over a touchdown with two teams with the being in state, I think you got to take it. You know about rivalry games, LT, Georgia Tech, Georgia being an option. Georgia Tech, remember back in the day, no matter how bad Georgia Tech was, every now and then they would just come up and give Georgia a run for their money, because the teams that play each other in state, you put the records out the window when it comes to those matchups.
Absolutely. Georgia Tech was almost always the last game on Georgia's schedule, and we were always scared of that game. No matter what Georgia's record was, It was always a tough game against Georgia Tech.
Yeah, and I really, really think Miami's having the big head right now. Things flat. But I'm telling you, Carson Beck, he struggled against that Florida defense when he was with Georgia last year. So I think a lot of these SEC defenses, they know how to play Carson Beck. They played against them for 2 years. So I think there'll be a little extra motivation, not only because it's in interstate, but, hey, they got a familiar foe on the other side. So, but, hey, that's our 7 games for the week. We'll be back next week, and I want to do a special thanks to LT, joining the show, helping me out. It's always good to have an extra fresh set of eyes, and it's always always good to talk to somebody during this stuff. And just want to again appreciate everybody. Like, subscribe, notify. You need the notifications, folks, because as we talked about, point spreads change by the minute. So if we're going to advise you to take it now, we had that one 6.5, Oklahoma -6.5. You got to hit that notification bell, because before you know it, hey, it could go to 7 and then you lose the value. So yeah, click, like, subscribe, notify. And again, LT, appreciate hopping in out of your time. And folks, we will all see you next week.
Absolutely. Anytime.